This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
Here we go. Blockbuster contest here. The Illawarra Hawks taking on the Perth Wildcats. Now, the Perth Wildcats were underwhelming their first game back from all their COVID issues, and we know it usually takes teams a couple of weeks to bounce back. And the one team you don't want to be coming up against is a team that scores the ball at the rate that the Illawarra Hawks do. So this is a tough one for the Wildcats. I sympathise with them, but I think I'm going to have to go with the Hawks here. And you look at the line here. This one is set to go right down to the wire. No point taking the line when it's that close. You can get enough value on the head-to-head there for the Illawarra Hawks. And the total points, the Gorgon D and the Perth Wildcats, that just seems like a recipe for the unders for me. And don't forget to start a Bet with Mates group this NBL season. Still plenty of time to go. Plenty of games coming up. Enjoy and gamble responsibly.
Already pops out for three. Tied ball game at 68. Game on three. And the foul. And falling upstairs. Now we've got ourselves a ball game. You've seen this movie before. Takes it inside. He's passed it back out. Wildstone. Good was that. Is the hand in the face. 6 of 6 from outside.
There's no question about it. This is a big one. Two teams who are fancied to be top 4 contenders once again in the Hungry Jacks NBL, and an Illawarra team who many expected to be the title winners at the end of this NBL22 season. What are they made of, and what are the Perth Wildcats made of after a disappointing loss against the Adelaide 36ers? Hello and welcome to the Win Entertainment Centre as Illawarra play host to the Perth Wildcats. Jack Heverin joined in commentary by Corey Homicide Williams and the GOAT, Andrew Gaze, and this is a monster.
Jack, this is a big one, and the Illawarra Hawks coming off that tough loss to Melbourne United on their home court. For 3 quarters, that was one of the best games we've seen in a long time last week. In the last quarter, the Illawarra Hawks, they could not score. And similarly with the Perth Wildcats, they were humiliated. 28 points down, if you don't mind, Corey, against the Adelaide 36ers. Made a charge of it, but really didn't look like they were going to win that one. So two teams that we expect to be in the playoffs should be very desperate. This should be fun to watch.
DoorDash starting lineup for the Illawarra Hawks. Hungry? Fire up DoorDash and order your game day essentials now. It's been the same starting lineup for the entire season, Corey.
And there's no reason it should change. Looking forward to seeing this matchup. Both of these two teams played each other in the semifinals. This should be a goodie.
Second on the ladder, the Perth Wildcats, 5 wins and 2 losses. Illawarra, third on the table, 4 wins and 2 losses. And talk about, some teams like to spread their bench. We just saw Melbourne United and all of the depth that they've got available. But here are the minutes played. Brian Gorgon keeping his rotation very small.
Well, it is, and primarily going with their 6 guys. And this is a little old school, but I like it. It's horses for courses, and you're using the talent how you see fit. And these guys, they've earned the right for those types of minutes. And, you know, as the season unfolds and different variables kick in, it may change. But right now, I know they're coming off a loss, but it's been a really good rotation, and one where the guys can develop that confidence because they know that, hey, I might make a few mistakes here or there, but I know I'm not going to get yanked and spend an extended period of time on the bench.
It's a milestone night for the competition's very best player.
Here we go.
Corey.
The game changed.
Here we go.
The moment Bryce Cotton arrived in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This is the best this league's ever been. If you're a stud, you're on the way to the NBA, playing in the NBA. This man has been the king of this league ever since stepping foot into this country. Look at the numbers, look at the stats. Career 22.7, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. This is the greatest import to ever touch the shores of Australia.
Oh my goodness.
Twitter, let's light up and talk about it.
Oh my
and then
goodness.
tell me the player that you're gonna go against me with, because you know you're gonna go against me.
Oh my
Who game could transition into this decade, this time right now in this game, and put those same numbers up.
We said he had
I want to
something-
hear that right now.
Well, you
Gabe.
said he had something to say, but you're somewhat losing your mind, I think, because you clearly got a very short memory of history. But I haven't given it a lot of thought. But before we get into that, let's have a look at what's going on with the Perth Wildcats. They've made a change. Majuk is being relegated to the bench, and Matthew Hodgson comes in. He's looked a little underdone, Hodgson, and he's slowly getting his form back. He's had to deal with some injuries, so he gets the start. A little change up. I don't think Majuk's done a whole lot wrong. He's been quite good for the Perth Wildcats, and just a little change up coming up after that loss. But shout out to Leroy Loggins out there, because, geez, my old mate here's got very, very short.
Shout out to Leapin' Leroy.
Leapin' Leroy.
Here he goes.
21 years at 23 points per game, 8 rebounds and 3 assists. And let me repeat, 21 years, 23 points, 8 rebounds. Now, this is not 150 games. This is a long, long career with very spectacular numbers. So, just, and hey, shout out to Leonard Copeland as well. 2 championships in his first 6 years here.
Shout out to the OG, Coach.
He's done some very special things. So.
Look at the GOAT bringing a bit of research to tonight's game.
No, well, that's just
not just a suburb.
That's not research.
Not just a suburb.
Mate, that's not research. That's tattooed in my mind, because they are some of the greats in the history of the game. Shout out to Scott Fisher, who did some very good things as well. And the list goes on. Notwithstanding, one of my favourite players, Bryce Scott. Absolutely love him to death.
I want to hear
congratulations on a 150.
That's for sure. I want to hear what Twitter really has to say. Now, think about it out there, Twitter.
Here we go.
It's all right to agree with me.
Bet you they don't. Hashtag NBL22 to join us across the night. Illawarra and Perth going head-to-head. Last year's semi-final matchup. We're back to do it again. Perth was successful in that series across the 3 games. And the Hawks have made some key additions during the off-season. This man, the biggest of the lot.
And he's been very good. Good size, inside, outside, and real presence, big target.
Cleveland picks up the loose ball for Illawarra. Quickly gets them beyond halfway. Harvey pulls up. Had his shot blocked.
Real good defense.
Good to see Mitch Norton back in starting lineup as well, with the energy that he brings on the defensive end. And based on their performance against the Adelaide 36ers, they needed it. They needed that presence. And when you see your backcourt getting up and in, something perhaps they didn't see a lot of in Townsville when you were there, Corey. But when you see them up and in playing that defensive pressure, it can be very infectious. Nothing wrong with just knowing you're right. I used to pick them up at
half court, Gaze. Listen, I got to score on the other end, too. I ain't getting wore down.
I'm hearing you.
I'm not picking up full court, getting wore down when I got to score 20-something on the other end.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm picking up a half court. But they did tell me defensively wasn't your biggest thing either.
No, that's true.
Reith with his second opportunity from close range, misses.
Now 2 of 15 from the three-point line in that last quarter. Early on, they're going inside. Sorry, Jack, but early on, you can see the Illawarra Hawks. But I think it's a concerted effort there. You see the first few plays to really try and pound that thing inside. And there's one of the greatest of all time, and maybe he might end up that way, but still got a bit of work to do.
You can see, you know what? Usually when he's playing and starts games, he's not as aggressive as he is tonight. He's usually passive, getting his teammates involved, and in the second half, he begins to take over.
It's interesting.
2 quick shots.
Of the 22 points a game that Bryce Cotton averages, Corey, he only averages 3 points in first quarters, to back your stat up.
Thank you for agreeing and strengthening the stat. See what I'm saying, Gabe?
Yes, I do, and I can also see what Justinian Jessup's been doing this season. Shooting the ball exceptionally well from the three-point line. He's at 41%, 14 of 34, and just catch and shoot, no hesitation on that last 3 ball.
Fraser, guarded by Froling, who's done well to stay in front. Fraser had to pick up his dribble. Cotton late in the clock. It's deep as well. Good defensive possession from the Hawks.
Real good defensive possession, and that's his 3rd attempt.
Let's get courtside. Welcome in Oscar Foreman for the first time.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How you doing, Oscar?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. First time back in NBL22, which is good to be here.
Great to have you. Talk us through the build-up to this game, because as we said off the top, it's a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you feel the energy in this building early on in the warm-ups. I was talking to Kevin White and Nordo. They didn't want to say it, but you can tell they love coming back to the Hawks. They love coming back to this floor, and they had their eyes on Tyler Harvey, making life difficult for him. And I think that's a key for them getting the win and taking the pressure off Bryce Cotton for his 150th tonight.
We'll check in with Oscar across the game. Very popular man at the Wynn Entertainment Centre, Oscar Foreman. He'll be signing a lot of autographs and
whatever it is that he's died or whatever it is, magnificent conditioning. That hasn't not aged.
No, timeless.
Looks like he could suit it up. I'm sure he could still go out there and shoot it with the best of them.
He was a hell of a shooter.
One of the greats from the three-point line.
Reith goes 2 from 2. 16.5 points a game, 7.5 rebounds a game of his numbers across the season. Illawarra create the steal. Harvey thrown up for Antonius Cleveland.
Full credit for the dunk and the athleticism by Cleveland, but that's as good a pass as you want to see. Only a step or two over the centre line and puts it right on the money.
The Hawks have scored the last 7 points in the game after the Wildcats had the opening bucket. Cleveland throws a lob for Froling. And Harvey driving towards the basket. He couldn't finish off. Reith in the paint. Not that time either. Froling taps it back out. Hustle plays from the Hawks. Cleveland gets to the rack and lays it up.
I just love their energy coming out. All business, not giving up. Timeout.
Scott Morrison doesn't like that. There was a timeout on the made basket. Didn't hear the siren. And I think it's a good decision. Here's that pass. Perfect pass. Right at the rim. And Cleveland uses athleticism, but this looks like a flustered performance by Scott Morrison and a little unorganised on the offensive end.
They went down against Adelaide 36ers a few days ago.
You got a corner three wide open and a lob. No basket, no shooters. That's it. That's the whole game. Add in 2 on second chance.
On the walk-up, Dave Cutter's the one with it.
Brian Gorsian laying down the challenge to his troops, relentless in their pursuit.
Well, they are, and he is, and they're going to be desperate. They've done a great job on defense. Perth Wildcats yet to have a field goal, 0 for 3 from, and all of them coming from the three-point line. And Scott Morrison has a different style to what Trevor Gleeson had. And Trevor Gleeson, very methodical, running his flex offense, stayed with it. They knew exactly their positions, very rigid. A little bit more read and react built into what the Perth Wildcats run this season. And 2-3 zone, so just mixing it up, coming out of this timeout.
Law defers to Frazier for 3. They needed that.
Well, that's what he's here for. That's what he's been recruited to do. And that'll help his confidence knocking down that 3-ball.
Shooting it at 33%, albeit a small sample size, only his 5th game of the season. And Froling showed us last week that he's got the mid-range jumper in his arsenal. That's a right-hand hook that time. Doesn't get it to go. Now Cotton attracts the crowd. Illawarra forced the error. Harvey for Froling. 2 more.
Just doing a really good job defensively. Getting the ball out of Cotton's hands, putting him under pressure with a blitz. They get a steal and another alley-oop layup.
2 steals early for Illawarra, the second in the competition in that stat. Cotton knocks it out of bounds. Vic Law coming out of the game. That's a couple of the dimes that Tyler Harvey's dropped in this opening quarter.
Big men running the floor, his teammates running the floor, and he's rewarding them.
The tempo at which they're playing too, they're looking to run at every single opportunity and extending the defense, applying a lot of pressure on the defensive end.
Luke Travers, Jesse Wagstaff checking in for the Wildcats. Harvey stepping back on Travers. Doesn't get it to go. There's DeWalt-Breath.
Usually that's what the Wildcats do. Get all of these offensive rebounds, gang rebounds. So far in this game, there's 3 offensive rebounds and 3 layups.
Majuk on the floor as well for the Wildcats. Jesse Wagstaff takes the extra step.
And that's an area this season, the Perth Wildcats are down on. That's their work on the glass. Last season, they were at 71% of opportunities of rebounding, defensive rebounding. They're 71.4%. They never dipped below in any game below 69%. This season, they're at 58% in losses and 66% overall. So there's a marked drop-off in the work that they're doing on the glass.
Xavier Rattan-Mays checks in for his first minutes. One of the leading contenders, the 6th man of the year. Averaging 10 points, nearly 11 points a game, and 3 rebounds. Here's AK Gack getting some first quarter burn as well.
That's somewhat of a surprise.
Yeah, we spoke pre-game about Brian Gorton hardly ever going to his bench, but he does in the opening quarter here. A really bright young talent, Gack. That time, Majuk turned the corner.
Beautiful move, one-on-one in the post. Good finish. They need everybody to step up in this first quarter, the Wildcats, because they're usually off to a slow start. Nobody was down almost 30 points
28
in the first half, but they were also down pretty much 20 points against Cairns the week before, end of the first quarter.
There's Travers on the move, no foul. Plays through that, Frazier from outside. Nice hustle from Travers, gives him another look at it. And Majuk takes care of the rest.
Gee, there's a real randomness about the Perth offense right now and really letting it fly from the 3-point line. 1 of 5 of 9 field goal attempts in total.
Froling. He's forced into a tough shot. Hawks have scored off back-to-back buckets. Cotton, not that time from close range. He's 0 of 3 to start this game. Game number 150. Jessup, feet set. Tip back out, Cotton gathers. We come up to 3 minutes to play in the opening quarter. The Wildcats, as Corey said, have had their issues in the last couple of games with first quarters. Down 14 against Cairns, down 16 against the 36ers. And very little out of Vic Law and Bryce Cotton. There's something you don't see a lot of. Harvey at the other end, floater goes.
So tough, you have to close out super hard at the 3-point line. He just gives you a nice pump fake, 1-2 dribbles, floater.
Neither team really all that efficient on the offensive end. 35% for Illawarra, only 27% down here for the Perth Wildcats.
Late in the clock, Frazier got his 3-ball away.
Another 3-ball.
Majuk threw it back. Cotton was there to save the day. He fires from outside. He doesn't get it to go, and that's 1 from 7 to start with for the Wildcats. Illawarra at the other end, though. Clinical.
Little on-ball screen. This is poor defense. There's no other way to describe it. Poor defense by the Perth Wildcats. Simple middle on-ball screen. And good athleticism, but there's a tech foul on Scott Morrison. He doesn't like... I think his problem's more with the guys in the white jerseys than the officials right now.
I said this in the beginning of the season. There's question marks around the team. Whenever there's a new coach that comes in, we don't know the system that he's going to bring in. Will it work? Will it not? You're seeing right here.
He'd been arguing his point. Interestingly, after their game against Adelaide, Scott Morrison put his hand up and said, oh, I've got to be better in some of these situations. That's not practicing what you preach.
Well, and that's a let-off. Justinian Jessup goes to the line where this season he's perfect. He was 5 of 5. Surprised that he's only had 5 free throw attempts in the game so far. But he missed that one.
Brian Goorjian swinging some changes in the opening quarter. Tim Conrad checking in.
I tell you, after what we heard Brian Goorjian saying last week, Morrison must have said something really, really bad, because Brian Goorjian got away with a lot.
Etan Mays spins, steps back, and scores.
6th man of the year, right there. That's it. They brought him in here to help Tyler Harvey with the ball handling duties, and he's done a good job so far this season.
Good response from Blanchfield at the other end. His 4th game of the season. Great to see him back as well.
Just blue ball. Driving it, getting 2 feet in the paint, around the rim, powering up.
Blanchfield again, they play through. Good decision, draws a foul onto Opreith.
Always hard to follow someone of Trevor Gleason's caliber, and the way in which he had a clear stamp on the game. His style was different to anyone, a little old school, the way in which he was so structured on the offensive end. Foul call, I believe it was.
2 shots.
2 shots to Todd Blanchfield, but these are the times where they stop the machines. He'll get in those half. Previously, they'd go through, they'd run 2 or 3 flex cuts, have Bryce Cotton running around. But what we're seeing here is a lot of just spread out ISO ball, a lot of 3-point field goal attempts. And that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But what happens when those shots aren't dropping?
What do you go to?
What do you go to?
I'm with you, Gaze. Look, you see the synergy? You see this?
Problem for you two is no one else can see it. You two can see it.
They can feel it, though. They can feel it.
They can feel it through the screen.
The rest of the world can't see it. Etan Mays threw it up there for a Calder Gack.
But that's just...
Too easy.
It is way too easy. Now, we respect the athleticism, but getting that deep into the paint, simple lob pass, going over the top of the defense, high percentage.
It's a 10-point lead.
Now to me, that's not a great shot in the context. Now, you might say, oh, well, it's 2 for 1. But when you're down 10, you've only got 13 points and you're shooting at 25%. Bit of structure, loosen up the defense first. Get it through some hands, swing it around, then attack. And now, fortunately, they came up with it, got wedged in the basket, so it's a jump ball situation, and it's possession
I'm not saying it's a foul.
That's wrong. I didn't reach back.
I'm not saying it's a foul.
I didn't reach back.
Be careful.
Vaughan Mabry, a senior official out there tonight with Nico Fernandez and Alex McEwen. 14 on the shot clock. Cleveland knocks it out of bounds. The number 1 and number 2 teams in the competition for points scored per game. Illawarra averaging 90, Perth averaging 87. Blanchfield off target. Now the shot clock switched off. And the Hawks, after conceding the opening bucket, went on a 9-0 run. And have set this first quarter up. That'll be a foul.
It's not a bad one. They did have a foul to give, and Mitch Norton, in the way he's been rotating his minutes this season, it's not the end of the world. Tried to draw the charge, but stops the machines, takes away the set, Still got plenty of time. The Illawarra Hawks, 6 seconds to set something up, get it to the people they want to go to.
6.3 seconds remaining. It's up by Brian Gorgian. It's Tyler Harvey back in the game for this last possession. Cleveland comes out. Matan Mays, step back three. It doesn't go. Reith got it away before the quarter-time siren. But a dominant first quarter from the Illawarra Hawks on their home floor tonight. They look sharp. The challenge is ahead of the Perth Wildcats. They're down 10 at quarter-time in the Hungry Jacks NBL. You could call that first quarter a statement from the Illawarra Hawks. They lead 23-13. They were switched on from the moment this game started. The Perth Wildcats have certainly got some work to do. Long way to go in the game, but first quarters are becoming a big problem for them. No problems, though, for Jessica Scott. She's the winner of our Kmart gift card for tonight. The one-year-old loves going to game day and is excited for the first game back. I'm not sure, though, as Wildcat supporters, they'd be all that keen with what they saw in the opening quarter.
Well, they wouldn't like the opening quarter of the last 3 games. Tonight, they've got their 13 points. At Adelaide, they had 13, and before that, at Cairns, they had 11. And Perth down double figures at quarter time for the 3rd game in a row. So terrible starts. And when we're talking about the offensive structure in the system that the Perth Wildcats are making adjustments towards, as we see down low, just Reith doing his thing. But here's the thing. Vic Law, that was a cardio exercise for him because he had no shots, no rebounds, had the 1 assist, and that's it. Now, that's not on him. That's on the team, that's on your system, that's in your structure. There's no way he should be playing that first quarter and not getting a field goal attempt.
So why does that happen? For those watching at home who don't necessarily understand the intricacies of it, Vic Law, the 3rd in the competition for points per game. Yeah. Why did he have 1 field goal?
Well, one, you give some credit to the defence, absolutely. But it's the randomness of what Perth were doing. The lack of a system and a structure to say, well, OK, we're doing this from time to time. But there is a certain time in the game we go, we need to go to Vic Law, get him going, get it through his hands, play through him. And they didn't. They were coming down and blazing away. They had They're 1 of 10 from the three-point line. They've had 17 field goal attempts. So just coming down and ISO ball one-on-one, getting it up, hasn't been successful for him. And like I said, at times when you're hot, and you'll see it in this game, and we've seen it previously, that type of thing can be very, very helpful.
Oscar Foreman courtside at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Oscar, what are you making of this conversation?
I agree completely. That one shot from Vic Law came out of a timeout where they actually drew it up for him. As we see him take another shot and being successful this time, they Wildcats need to find him naturally and let it evolve for him. They need to look for him with the point guards rather than just waiting for a timeout to get a play drawn from him, in my opinion.
Well, that jump shot might be a sign of things to come. And the rebound to go with it. Certainly giving the Hawks a head start. Vic Law taking matters into his own hands.
That's exactly what he's doing. And that's what can hurt you, because when you go through it and you're not seeing it, then you can force the issue, take bad shots, and it can compound your problems.
What'd you call that first quarter? A cardio exercise.
He was just running up and down, getting he wasn't touching the ball and seeing it.
Ratan May's the leading scorer with 8 points. Such a punch off the bench for Illawarra.
Especially this season when Tyler Harvey's not playing particularly well like he played last season. To have Ratan Mays coming off the bench, that is a luxury at this moment.
Now on Tim Conrad. Only just got that in, Perth, and then a foul on Connor, and that's 2 in 2.5 seconds.
Well, it builds up your fouls, and that's just trying to fight through the screen. There's the reach in with Conrad. And he has got a very specific role. Some games he hardly plays, and other games he only plays a little bit. He's that potential microwave off the bench. His role is to come out and shoot the ball, and he does that really well. But 2 fouls is a little bit of a worry, but the role he's playing wouldn't be an overly great concern for Brian Goorjian.
He made amends that time with the steal.
Listen, this man has come to play. 10 points, and he's attacking Bryce Cotton every time he sees him in front of him.
Not many do that.
Not many do that.
Into double figures. Xavier Ratan Mays. Cotton swings to Law. 2 of 3 in this second quarter. Now Harvey creates a switch, guarded by Law. Got into the paint. His floater goes. Illawarra have scored the last 6.
And Illawarra are really attacking the rim. They've had 28 field goal attempts, only 7 3-pointers. Flip side, Perth Wildcats 6 of 20 from the field. Of that 20, 13 have been from the 3-point line.
That's 8 points now for Vic Law since you roasted him at quarter time.
I didn't roast him. I was supporting him and encouraging the Wildcats to give him a few more looks, and already he's had 4 field goal attempts in 3 minutes, and he's 3 of 4. Hence the reason I thought that he needed to see the ball a little earlier.
Agreed. Talent like that, great take by Harry. Big fella gets fouled.
I think the big fella was trying to get upstairs and
looked like he was trying to go up there.
trying to stuff that thing. Took off from a long way out.
Haji got a little bit of blood underneath his eye.
Harry Froling on the free throw line. Great article written by Chris Pike today on NBL.com.au about Harry Froling and taking this chance. Perhaps the last couple of seasons haven't gone the way that he would have liked them to. Certainly took ownership for some of that. Put himself on the Kevin Love diet as well.
Well, I think you can see it just in his body shape. Yep. He does look like he's in better shape. And you're giving yourself a far better chance. Sure, some people can, just their natural body type, they're a little bigger, but he seemed to go a little bit beyond that. And that's got to hurt you. Makes it so much harder with the amount of practice you've got to do.
He's playing some good minutes this season. Relishing the chance to play under the national coach, Brian Goorjian.
Nice take, good ball movement, better offensive set. Ball goes from one side to the other. Law attacks, gets fouled, now he goes to the charity stripe for 2. This is exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, a little bit. Just the mere fact that there was some passing around the horn and eventually the attack on the rim draws the foul. Illawarra has been a little shaky, only 65%. He should be better than that. 17 of 26 from the free throw line. As you see, that's a nice looking stroke. And to me, 65% is below par for where he needs to be. Should be high 70s at the very least.
Goes 1 of 2 that time. Illawarra 4 wins, 2 losses. 2 of those 4 wins have been on their home floor here at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Harvey to Froling. Late in the clock here for the Hawks. They didn't panic. Didn't get the shot away that they would have liked.
Good defensive stop by Perth right there. Sliding his feet well, making him force. Tough shot. Luke Travis back in the building. In this building at playoffs.
Series saving.
Man.
Series saving game, I think. That one with Luke Travis.
3rd youngest in NBL history to get that double-double.
Nice move by Jessup. He's had a couple of made field goals in the game. One of the next stars, we saw Ariel Hook-Porty in the last game as Melbourne's next star. Do some fantastic things. Jessup returning as a next star is good, but he was taken to the rack that time by Cotton.
Tough take and finish. He tried his best to keep the superstar in front of him. Gets to that bucket.
Wildcats come up with the rebound. They trail by 10 at quarter time. They've improved that deficit by 1. That'll help their cause. An easy 2 for Cotton.
Well, it's Vic Law and Bryce Cotton. As you'd expect, they're 2 marquee players taking over in this second quarter.
They kind of had to, didn't they? Reith putting the ball on the floor. Went to work on Law. He's short.
It's good defense by Law, keeping him in front of him. He has a bit of a height advantage. Law was strong on that defensive possession.
And then he pulls up for the mid-range too. Vic Law, scoreless at quarter time, has 11 in the second quarter. And Brian Gorshin's seen enough.
He has 11 and Cotton has 4, and that's the only scorers for the Perth Wildcats in this second quarter. Taking control, and you can see how damaging they can be when you get the ball in their hands in the preferred positions. And Vic Law making a statement early in that second quarter and gets the ball. Let's listen to Scott Morrison, see what he can let us know what's going on.
Hey, mate, we need to be able to get plays out of it.
Legs. Okay. Dribble over, okay, and push. Slip it. Jesse, you're out. Okay, all the way to the corner. Mike, flash. Go here, here. They're pulling in from the corner. Look at Todd in this corner. Okay? Yeah, you got it early. Okay? Hey, keep rebounding down there. Reith hasn't passed tonight. Okay? Let's go.
Just a simple set up a play, concentrating and reinforcing the job they need to do on the boards, and they trail that category 16-13. And it's an interesting one for you. The Illawarra Hawks so far yet to have a turnover.
Yeah.
And that is excellent by the Illawarra Hawks, but I always look at that and it does reflect what's going a little bit on the defensive end, where if you're in there and you're getting a hand, getting a little deflections, even if you're super effective, you still would like to pick up 1 or 2, regardless of how efficient the offensive is. If you're up and in and putting some pressure, which we see here. Frazier up and in on Harvey.
They are number one in the competition in that stat, Illawarra. Only concede 10.5 turnovers a game. Tyler Harvey, 2 of 6. Law has proved unstoppable, unguardable in this second quarter.
He's not playing around.
He's not playing around. And as you said, Corey, taking matters into his own hands. And here's the thing, when you're a coach, you want to have an influence. They have it. Now, they got the score. Vic Law did that. But it wasn't anything near what was drawn up in the timeout.
Nice defensive pressure from the Hawks. They create a turnover. Reith off balance. Mid-range floater. Not sure that's what they were looking for either. Now Blanchfield to the other end of the floor. Hands it off to Vic Law. That's 15 in a quarter.
And when you have a superstar like that on your team, how do you not get him the ball in the first quarter? How do you not play through him?
Well, that's the question we asked, but they've certainly rectified the situation here in the second. Blanchfield tries to jump in front of Cleveland. Wasn't in the sound defensive position. Good drop-off pass. Big Law.
Big Law played 6 minutes in the first quarter. Donut played 6 minutes in the second quarter, 15 points.
6 of 8 from the field, very efficient.
Scored the last 10 points, Perth. And they've done it in a little over 3 minutes, and it's all been driven by that man. 3rd in the competition for points per game, 8th in the competition for rebounds, 6th in the competition for 3 points made per game. What a brilliant pickup he's been for the Wildcats. Jessup relocates, buries the 3.
That's a big hit by Illawarra because Perth have been on a tear this quarter.
You're wrong. The clock is fine. You guys see that? Got a timeout.
Perth Wildcats call a timeout. Not sure what the issue was or the complaint.
Scott Morrison had been indicating that he wanted to call a timeout. Perhaps the officials didn't see him or hear him. So the obvious question, Vic Law has 15 in a quarter, Corey. I know it's easy sitting here and, you know, hindsight, we're all experts, etc., but why would he have not had a field goal attempt in the opening quarter? Why would that not have been driven by the coach to play through Vic Law early?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, to be honest with you, especially when you've been having horrific starts the past few games. You should want to get your stars going early to give yourself the best chance to win the game. So I have no answer for that.
Well, it certainly wouldn't have been intentional. And when the coach is out there thinking that you're going to be running your sets and just through the natural processes, you're going to go through him. But as I said, give some credit to the Illawarra Hawks. They know he's a key piece to this, and they're up and in and trying to push him out, not let him touch it. So there is elements to that, but that's where you need just a little bit of system to make sure that if he's gone 3 or 4 minutes and he hasn't had a touch or hasn't had a shot, let's call a play, get him to the box, get him in an ISO on the wing, whatever it may be, a variety of different things you can do for Vic Law in order that you can try and get something going.
Both teams prolific in second quarters. Both averaged 24 points in the second. Blanchfield crossing over and drew contact. Nice move. His 4th game of the season, made his return in round 7. And 9 points on 3 of 8.
It was stop-start too. Came back, had another little niggle. Yep. Had to come back in it. That's frustrating, but he's a pro, been around a long time, and won't be long before he's back into that 25 to 30 minute type role, and very high up in the volume of minutes that you'd normally expect from Todd Blanchfield.
Very disrupted pre-season due to a knee injury as well. He makes the second, and we check in with Oscar Foreman courtside.
Guys, just wanted to note that it's interesting to say that Wildcats, the last 2 timeouts, they've drawn up an offensive play for Vic Law. and Gorge has come out and they've just thrown the zone at them, and it's really thrown that play out the window. So going to be interesting the next time out to see whether they draw up a play to combat a zone and see what Gorge comes with that time.
And that is by design. He's knowing that, well, they're going to draw something up here. We'll just throw a zone at it to try and bust up the play. That's where you've got to have an offensive set that can cater for both.
Right.
That you have a set that where you know your penalties are going to be with what the defense is doing and how they're going to set up. So it really doesn't matter what they're playing.
Harvey. That pass was telegraphed. Jesse Wagstaff picked it off. And Fraser takes it to the other end, lays it up. We get ourselves a one-point game.
It is, and the wind's gone out of it for Illawarra. They're missing shots and really not showing the same level of intensity on the defensive end.
So they go back to Rattan Mays. Might have got away with a push-off. Jessup. Not that time, loose ball. Falls back to Rattan Mays. Harvey with a foot inside the line. Froling tips it back. Repeat opportunities for Illawarra. They just can't find the bottom of the net, though, this trip down the floor. Cleveland can't either.
That play there looked like the last 4 minutes of their game against Melbourne United.
He stole it away. This time tries to bank it home. It's Gladwrap over the wing.
Real dry spell on the offensive end for the Illawarra Hawks.
Double comes, nicely done by Jessup, knocks it out of bounds.
It's a great decision to do. That's the only man that's killing you in this quarter. With 15, you got to get it out the hot hand.
Yeah, they just run and set that double just to get it out of his hands, and they commit to or try to commit to a rotations on the weak side, but that time really good hands when you're coming for that double.
Vic Law. He's the man that's got them back into the game. Has to kick it out for Cotton. Wow.
Jeez.
Ice cold in this first half.
Ooh. Harvey crosses over. Ooh, big three.
That's a nice stroke. Beautiful rhythm and timing on that stroke. The coordination between his hands and his legs to give that rhythm makes it look so effortless from long range for Tyler Harvey.
His first three in the game. And a timely one for the Hawks, who may still get another possession. Fraser barrels into Rattan Mays. No foul called. Froling pounces on it. 3 seconds for Harvey. There's a foul on the play, and Cleveland is going to be on the line with 2 free throws.
And that's a great take, because he looked like he was going to settle to shoot the 3. The last second he attacked, gets fouled.
And a video analysis on.
When are you getting on that?
I'm not getting on that.
I want to get on it. Just the blackboard. Just won't let me.
They won't let you do you?
Won't let me do my thing.
Not sure you can be trusted.
Not yet, apparently.
0.2 of a second left on the clock.
So if you guys get it in from the baseline, you've got to tip it in, all right? Because it's below. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
0.2 of a second left.
Cleveland 4 points so far tonight. 6 rebounds.
Yep.
1.
Fortunately, free throw shooting has been his Achilles heel this season. Just a 50% free throw shooter. He lives up to that. Perth fought their way back into the game, led by Vic Law. But it's Illawarra who lead it by 5, 41-36 at halftime. Perth are back in the game, Corey.
Yeah, they've done a really good job getting their stars to lead them back into the game. Vic Law, fantastic in the second quarter. Brought this game to a 5-point deficit.
when it looked like things were not going their way. So good effort by the Wildcats in that second.
Let's get to Oscar Foreman.
Xavier, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists tonight. You seem to really be relinquishing that 6-man role. What's your mentality coming into the game tonight?
Push the pace. Coach is giving me the opportunity to get in and be aggressive, push the pace, get downhill, and have guys running with me. And it makes it easy when we have a group of guys that is able to get into spots and we're able to run the floor at a high level.
And on the other end of the floor, Vic Law going scoreless in that first quarter, busting out for 15 points. What are you going to have to do in the second half to stop that?
Got to do a better job. Keep him out the paint, show him bodies, and contest shots. He was able to get into the paint whenever he wanted. We got to do a better job with that.
Thanks. Good luck in the second half.
A rematch of last year's semi-final series, and it's lived up to the hype so far. At halftime, it's the Hawks who lead it by 5 in the Hungry Jacks NBL. But if nothing else, we know there's a long way to go in this game. We'll pull it all apart in the halftime show on the other side of this.
Great to have your company in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's half-time and Illawarra leading over the Perth Wildcats 41-36. The lead was 10 at quarter time. The Wildcats won the second quarter and have got themselves back to a more manageable 5-point deficit.
It is, and it was a vast improvement. And it wasn't just about the ball going in the hole. It was also what they were doing on this end of the floor, the Perth Wildcats. Now, that's a really tough move. Certain things you just got to live with. But the intensity picked up, and as such, it generated some offense, in particular from their two studs. Vic Law was their prime mover in that second quarter. 15 points in the quarter, and he did it from all over the court. He got to the rim, he got a dunk, knocked down a couple of 3 balls. and he was superb. And Bryce Cotton, Corey's suggestion on the greatest of all time, and has put a little bit of pressure on him, and he's only 2 of 8 in this
little bit of pressure.
A little bit of pressure. He's still got the 6 points. And one thing we have learnt from Bryce Cotton is you never write him off, because he can turn it on. And Retief Mays, I haven't got his photo up there just yet, but he's had a decent one as well. Have a look at the shooting percentages. Not great for both these teams. I want you to take also notice of the 3-point field goal attempts. We were saying the Perth Wildcats, for most of the half, their 3-point attempts were above 50% of your total field goal percentage. That second quarter really started to make a concerted effort to get to the rim, and as such, they were able to get that scoreboard ticking over a little bit more efficiently. And although in that first half, 20-14 were points in the paint in favour of the Illawarra Hawks, but it was a lot. The gap was a lot more than that for out most, but it's the Perth Wildcats mixing it up and finding other scoring avenues, and they've looked a whole lot better.
Let's have a look at the SodaStream shot chart for both teams in the first half as well. As Drew mentioned there, it's not the most glorious SodaStream shot chart that you'll ever see, Corey.
It isn't, but defense is where Perth Wildcats have found a way to get back into this game. Illawarra started out hot, quick in that first quarter. It was their quarter, and then Illawarra, tale of 2 quarters for both teams.
I think also when you look at the rotations that we've spoken about right from the top and the way in which they use their squad, there can be an argument to say that fatigue can kick in, because the intensity did drop off a little bit for the Illawarra Hawks when that ball wasn't going through the hoop as regularly in the first quarter. What it does, it puts a whole lot more pressure on your defensive transition. And Perth started to pick up a few earlier ones, easier ones in transition, and once they settled into that, the game, the complexities of the game really changed a lot.
And they were able to settle into the game because of Vic Law. Scoreless in the opening quarter, Corey. 15 points in the second. He did all the damage. He's the reason that Perth are only 5 down at the half.
Yeah, especially as a superstar that he is, the superstar he is, to come into a game, 6 minutes played in the first quarter, not even get an attempt. You're pissed off. And you're losing.
You're a little angry.
So you got to get the pill and just individually get to business.
Yeah, he did.
And he that's what he did.
Yes.
That's why we got a ball game now.
Oh, we do. And as I mentioned, Corey, different ways he can hurt you.
Yeah.
And that's where, in that first quarter, when you get together and you start to refine those roles, those types of mistakes don't happen where Vic Law is out there and has 0 attempts in the first quarter, because they know your system's there and you know my role. Hey, get it out here, but they were just blazing away randomly in that first quarter. Prioritise your targets, and the outcomes were a whole lot better.
So, we've got ourselves a game now. It didn't look like that at quarter time. All of a sudden, this is starting to set itself up for a really, really big second half, no doubt about that.
Oh, my word, this is game on from here out. They've both had their runs, and they got a very small margin, but nothing in this, and the Wildcats right back in this contest.
And if you think that you too can play like a pro, then with thanks to Bunnings Warehouse, you can, because they're giving you the chance to win your very own court at home. You can enter now at win.nbl.com.au/Bunnings.
I was out there every day, so I think if I had a full court, you wouldn't get me inside.
Most of the games I played on the lower hoop, just to show my supreme athleticism.
I only worked on shooting, which is why that's really all I can do.
When you're 8 years old or 10 years old, it's the best thing in the world.
I had a basketball hoop and a little trampoline. I used to play back there for hours with my brother and get beat up a lot, but it was a lot of fun in the meantime.
I hope that one day when I grow up, I'll be able to give my kids a court at home as well.
That's where I lost a lot of games to my brother at.
Started at this height, and every year I got older, it moved higher and higher until I got to 10 foot, and I'm doing the same with my kids back at home.
My dad built one, so I had a little bit of like a half court going on, and that made my life the best, so I could never complain as a kid.
And that was kind of like our sanctuary, our getaway from everything.
We're just about ready to go at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Illawarra leading 41-36. Let's hear the thoughts of Coach Brian Goorjian. A short time ago, he caught up with Oscar Foreman.
Gorge, let's start on the defensive end. Vic Law scoreless in that first quarter, 15 in the second. What are you going to do in the second half to contain him?
Yeah, I mean, Vic Law, Bryce Cotton, that's last week's. We had 2 issues as well. And that was, AC is just huge on that. And I just thought, again, us as a team, we get a little bit of a lead and we relax. All right, you can't relax on him. He got to the middle of the floor, he got post-ups, we were late on the traps, rotating to him. So again, it's just what he's gonna get his, but we can't give him easy baskets. And he was the key in that second quarter that got him back into it, and that was the focus at halftime.
Completely. Let's talk about your rotations. You've shortened your rotation lately. Tonight, looks like you're playing a lot more players. What's the thoughts behind that?
Yeah, just we got 4. The season's changed, and I got to get more guys involved in this if we're going to go to where we want to go. And you're right, and it's been a thought process. Involve the bench more. I thought I got good minutes out of AK, you know. And again, this team, they've won 32 times they've been in the finals in a row. They've been there for a reason, and they win these games. They lose one, they don't let these go. This is a tough one for us, and a real important part of our moving forward as a franchise is tonight. And our guys know that.
Good luck to the second half.
The always detailed Brian Goorjian giving his thoughts. There's Bryce Cotton.
Well, that's a breakdown. They're coming off an on-ball. Sam Frolling's right off. So they switch the first one, comes off, and that's what can get a superstar going. Gets a wide-open look for a 3. Sam Frolling needed to be a whole lot higher on that on-ball screen.
Nice take from the key. Duop.
2 of 10, his shooting stats for the night. Duop Reith.
You know what? Vic Law was defending him, and he's a really good on-ball defender. Gave him a lot of trouble in the first half.
42 of 82 coming into tonight's game. Nice pass, Norton. Threaded the eye of the needle. Found Majuk.
You see the difference in their on-ball action that last time where they hard show and get back and rotate, and there's a foul. Majuk goes to the line to shoot a couple. All teams are adjusting with Michael Frazier coming. Frazier played 15-odd minutes in that first half, and what it does, it changes. And with Blanchfield coming back on, the roles are continuing to change. And a guy like Kevin White only played a minute and a half in that first half, where he's been averaging close to 20 minutes a game. So it's a lot of adjusting as players come back in. It's sometimes hard when you're making those adjustments and you're not sure how long you're going to be playing, and as much as the coach can communicate and go, yes, coach, but when it's actually happening, it can be a different thing.
We saw Kevin White just a few moments ago. This is a 1-point game. Double-digit lead at quarter time. The Wildcats have clicked into gear now. Harvey into the paint. That floater is money.
Just so tough to defend, because he can shoot and knock that 3-ball down. He's so quick. You just need help. He's just one of those guys, one-on-one, it's very difficult to stop.
Norton at the other end, not to be outdone.
And he's starting to heat up, making a couple of good plays on the offensive end. Hit a 3, went to the basket, found Majuk. He goes to the he gets to the rack and scores another bucket as well. Good to see him back healthy and in the lineup.
I guess that's the thing with the Wildcats, that is it hard to assess them based on the injuries they've had and the disruption they've had because of border restrictions and whatnot?
It does make it difficult, and there's the uncertainty about, well, are they going to get back in front of that Red Army? Are they going to have those 14,000 people cheering you on for at least half your games? So it's a different set of circumstances for them this season, but given their history, as Brian Goorjian referred to, they're well equipped to deal with it. When you've got a man like Vic Law in your squad, that makes the going a whole lot easier.
That gives the Wildcats the lead. Reith on the way to the rack. That'll be a charge Hodgson saw it coming.
Well, they're the rotations we weren't seeing in that first quarter.
No,
they're coming in, and now we're seeing almost the complete opposite. Quick, one pass, Reith concerned about his points. He's been aggressive here in this start of the third quarter, and just a little anxious and forces one up, but good rotation by Hodgson to get in that lane. Draw the charge.
Perth Wildcats up 1.
Norton running the point. Cotton got away from Jessup. Bang!
Tale of 2 different halves. 2 for 2 from 3 in this quarter.
It was Law who got hot in the second. It's Cotton getting hot in the third. And causing some big problems now for Illawarra. Here's Cleveland trying to get busy. From the elbow, can't get it to go. Hodgson kept it in. His second rebound of the game.
A double has to come. That's too deep. He can hit that.
Yeah, that's a let-off.
He's arguing, looking like it was a foul.
Good D at the other end, and the rebound. Luke Travers getting set to check back in. And it's Cotton. Changes his shot, gave it up to Hodgson instead. Nice D from Jessup.
Real good defense. On the ball and in the paint. Forcing Cotton to pass. He hit his last 2.
He wasn't expecting it. He was expecting the shot to come up, and he needed to just gather himself, use his size.
Earlier tonight, it was Melbourne emphatic winners and making it 7 in a row over the Adelaide 36ers, 97-78. Tomorrow, Sydney and Brisbane will do battle after playing last night. And Tasmania will also be back in action. It's been a while since we've seen them. They'll play the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix in a Sunday doubleheader.
Still a long way to go, but it's getting into that difficult stage for the Sydney Kings. They can't afford to drop too many more. They've had some hard luck stories, so that's going to be a critical game for them. Bryce Cotton getting an early breather.
Travers bullet pass for Hodgson. To his favoured left side, but couldn't get it to go. Harvey early in the offense. That's now 1 of 5 from deep. Fraser under all sorts of pressure. Managed to find a way to enable Hodgson, who takes the bump and has got the extra free throw to come.
You know what? That was really good defense, but the upper body strength of Fraser, being able to get over the screen, use the screen well, keep the defense on his side, and find his big fella when the weak side comes to help him. It's just a good offensive play.
Into the starting lineup tonight. Is that something that Scott Morrison can afford to be a little flexible with, but between Hodgson and Majuk, who starts, or is...
We can, and they both have got some decent experience, been around a while, and they offer similar type characteristics. Neither one of them is going to be a threat from the perimeter. They're not pick and pop guys, they're pick and dive, and down on the low block, they're pretty tough.
Tan Mays kept it alive. And Jessup got to the elbow this time around. There's that one rattle out as well.
Look at this lineup that Perth Wildcats go with now. They go small, so they're 5 out. They're spreading the floor, get to an on-ball. Pretty simple stuff, but can be effective in trying to look for the mismatch, or just go to your superstar and let him get the job done.
Cleveland not happy with the call, and that'll be his 4th foul. You'd suspect he'll be coming out of the game. This match is turning, Corey, before our very eyes.
Bryce Cotton's up to 12 points. Vic Law on 17.
Well, here's the thing. We saw this with the Illawarra Hawks in the last quarter against Melbourne United, and we're seeing it similar signs here at the start of the third. They go through some real dry spells, despite the incredible talent they have out there with Jessup and Harvey and Cleveland. And Sam Frolling's had some big games. They've only scored 6 points. 6 points in 5.5 minutes.
And in total, they're 2 of 14 from the 3.
You can see the quarter-by-quarter breakdowns. The damage that the Perth Wildcats have done in this third term. Blanchfield second. Brian Goorjian calling a timeout with 4 minutes 14 remaining. He can sense the trend of this game, and it's not trending the right way for his team right now.
No, it is not. Perth Wildcats doing a really good job defensively, and offensively it's a bit more balanced. Mitch Norton, 5 points, 3 assists. Blanchfield out there. Hodgson doing little things. Frazier stepping in.
First one to get to walks away with a beautiful care. Here we go.
Push up to the ball.
Taking a look at the big screen. Okay, first and best dress, Noah.
Into
Who do you think it is?
Right now.
What did you say? No. Have another guess.
Let's go here on
Emina. Not Emina. Hawks winning 2 new things on the big screen.
All right, hey, good dot.
Sam Froling.
Just
got
got
to Sam Froling. All right, let's take a look at the big screen, Hawks fans.
We're in loops and doubles now. Either one of you guys can play some pick and roll with you spotting up. That's a good
Memphis, who are you putting in?
Here we go.
Harley Froling.
Really interesting stage of the game, this last 4 minutes of the third quarter.
Brian Goorjian, throughout the course of his career, has been at the defensive end where he's really made his mark. Yes, he's been good at everything, but it's at the defensive end is where his teams have really embodied the way in which he wants to play. That has not been the case in this third period. 19 points they've given up in 5 and a little bit minute, almost 6 minutes. And when your scoring's dried up, it really does exaggerate the problems you have on the floor.
That's barely hitting the rim from Tyler Harvey.
2 of 15.
Harvey 1 of 6.
Flagstaff look for Law. Pass was chopped down on the way to Blanchfield. Shot clock's at 4. He'll need to get busy on Conrad. That little one-handed push that he's trademarked.
It is. That is a tough shot. Certain things you live with on the defensive end, and you can't do a whole lot more than what was done on Todd Blanchfield on the last field goal attempt.
He knows the rims here pretty well. Spent a couple of years as an Illawarra Hawk.
I said it last week, this is the best shooting gym in the country.
I saw a lot of love on Twitter as well from former players in the league who agreed and said that
a little bit of support.
For whatever reason, the rims at the Wynn Entertainment Centre are like a hula hoop.
Well, we're not seeing it from Illawarra tonight, only 33%.
Nice strip by Jessup. Trying to get them going defensively. Conrad gave up the 3, got himself all the way in, and scores.
Much needed. Again, it's in that transition. When you're getting bogged down in the half court, you don't have to do it to the death, but you really need to try and push it up the floor and test what's going on in that first 6 to 8 seconds of your offensive set. If there's nothing on, kick it out and then get into your half-court action, but really put a point of emphasis on it to try and find a way to get some easier baskets.
Let's check in with Oscar Foreman courtside.
Guys, just want to say, looking at the benches of both teams, normally when a run's going, the other bench will settle down a little bit. Both these benches are up, and especially with second coaches. Look at AJ Ogilvy from the Hawks. He's up there barking as well to the players, and Kevin White as well, especially to Michael Frazier. He's up there the whole time and giving instructions, which is great to see.
Perth bench will be happy with that one. Blanchfield warming into the game now, has 11. Good take by Rattan Mays.
Come here. Where did I foul him? Where did I foul him? We want to know if we want to challenge. Where did I foul him?
Vic.
It's a reasonable question because he wants to know where the foul was. Was it with the body or with the hand? Because that'll determine when you're going to challenge. So they've said, OK, on that information, we'll do the little Johnny Travolta action and say, we want to have a look at this.
The what?
And they're going to challenge.
The Johnny Travolta action.
Oh, when you see him in the Saturday night, you get the finger going. And
I thought that was you on Dancing with the Stars.
Well, that's true as well. But this is, and it's a good point, because you can only challenge what they've called. If they see something else, well, that's in a category that doesn't matter. So now, if it's with the hand, I guess there was a lot of ball. If the foul was caught and we don't know, that looked like there was a push in the back. But that's probably why they were asking, well, what was the call? Was it with the hand? Was it called a hands foul or a push foul? It seems odd that even if they called a hands foul, but there was something blatantly on the exact same play. But it's my understanding is that you can only challenge what they've actually called. I think that's a push and that's a foul.
Did he get him on his head?
Interesting challenge, this one.
It's definitely a push and a foul. He got him on his head with his right hand.
The elbow and the head, perhaps. There's a lot of ball, though. He got the ball.
Oh, that's a foul. He hit it.
But to me, that's a foul.
Elbow to the head for sure. Well, I mean, I've been wrong plenty of times in this, so I won't say for sure. But
it's really surprising this is overturned. But I've been really surprised on quite a few occasions.
Yeah.
Jackie boy.
You most certainly have. Did you know that about our man, that he was on Dancing with the Stars?
I did know that.
Have you seen the YouTube footage?
I haven't
Coach's challenge is successful. The call is overturned. We have a jump ball. Perth keep their timeout and their coach's challenge.
I'll just say that I'm really surprised.
I am too.
Put your hand in, please. Let's go.
Okay.
Well, the only explanation is maybe they thought it was the foul was actually with the hand, and maybe they can't then say, well, okay, well, I got it wrong with the hand, but it was a push.
Because the ball was shot and it was blocked. I keep my challenge. You keep your challenge and your time. Awesome, thank you. So we keep the hour, right?
Wow, good outcome for the Perth Wildcats.
I think that was the thing he was most happy with, Scott Morrison. He just wanted the timeout and the challenge. Still up his sleeve.
Jump ball, absolutely love this. If I was the grand poobah of basketball,
you are
bringing back the jump ball. For all circumstances, a jump ball, it's a jump ball.
Fraser travels. I think you'd have a lot of friends with that view.
Homicide, possession arrow, or jump ball?
Jump ball.
I say this, possession arrow is great up to under 14s. I'm not just doing that for comedy value. I actually think it's a great rule because it keeps the game flowing. Although the kids love jump balls.
They do. We're not playing under 14s, though.
Save the parents having to worry about flipping the little box over the arrows.
Nice rebound by Froley.
There's absolutely nothing happening from the land of plenty for Illawarra today.
No.
2 of 17.
They shoot the three ball at 34% across the season. As you say, Corey, it's not happening for them tonight. Cotton at the top of the key. That's how it's done.
Man. 3 threes in this quarter. Cotton up to 15 points, just like that.
Game number 150 tonight. It's taken him a little while to work into it. Jessup trying to get going again. Was hot early.
Well, he's been starved off it a little bit as well. 4 of 10, but only 1 of 6 from the three-point line.
Blanchfield, extra pass from Fraser. Good decision. Look at the Wildcats making it rain.
And here's where, if someone was talking about us and making comments of what we were, in the first quarter, these are the types of shots that were just plain missing. And now they're doing almost very similar action, just 5 out, spreading it around, but these shots are now dropping.
Quick play coming here from Perth. You heard Scott Morrison call for the 2-for-1. Law from deep. Foul on the floor. Michael Fraser.
What's up?
Up 10 after being down 10 at quarter time.
Penetrate, kick, penetrate, kick. And it's just putting him... The way you stop that is you do a better job guarding the guy with the ball to stop the penetration and not require the help. Prevention's better than cure, but that's easier said than done when you've got some elite guys on the floor that you're trying to stop.
Foul's going to send Rattan Mays to the stripe.
He's caught one. Looks like he's caught one in the eye. You heard on the sideline Scott Morrison blitz it, blitz it, blitz it. What he wanted was to get the double team. Just go run at him, because they were always going to be waiting to run the clock down. That's, you could tell that was going to happen. So he wanted to get that pressure and just rotate out of it. Let's have a look here. Vic Law, inadvertent, or just looked like it was in the chin.
I think he's okay now. Certainly made sure that it was seen. %, free throw shooter on the season. Most recently played in Romania. Was the last signing for the Illawarra Hawks.
He's had some adversity to deal with as well. He, 2017, he signed in a German club. It looked like it was a potential career-ending quad injury. Was able to recover from that. Spent most of his time in the G League.
Stepfather Theron Mays played 24 games in the NBA with the 76ers and the Clippers.
Played another one from the SEC, Florida Gators. Yep.
This is the second. And this is plenty of time now for Perth to have a meaningful possession. Oh, Cotton crosses everyone over. Blanchfield can't make it happen, but Perth made it happen in a big way in the third quarter. What a turnaround we've seen. 66-57 is their lead at three-quarter time. The challenge is now firmly on ahead of the Hawks. Are they good enough to respond? We'll find out after this in the Hungry Jacks NBL. A massive third quarter for the Perth Wildcats. They outscored the Hawks 30-16, and they've gone from 5 down at the half to 9 up at three-quarter time. Massive response from Scott Morrison's men.
It was a fantastic team performance in that third quarter. Defensively and offensively, they got easy buckets. They hit a bunch of threes. Cotton got going. Blanchfield got going. Law took care of the second quarter.
Yeah.
But the team handled the third. Hence the result. Ooh.
Jessup, the step back and the finish. How good was that?
That was beautiful, especially dropping Cotton, hitting the mid-range. You missed that one. Got to get back to that replay.
No, that's right. We're gonna need to see more of this. And look up in the lanes.
Cotton winds the shot clock down. Blanchfield concedes a foul there. His third. They're the #1 scoring team in the competition, Illawarra. They averaged 90 points a game.
Right here.
Could it be Justin and Jessup, Corey, that takes over in this fourth quarter?
It's going to have to be. He has plays like that in the arsenal. It's going to have to be a collective effort because 2 of 17 from the three as a team, that's not going to get it done. And Duop Reef, 2 of 11. We got one more quarter of action. Anything can happen.
There's a lot of firepower out there, but just across the board, just not getting it done at the right times. 36% from the field. And remember how we spoke about the numbers of the Perth Wildcats in that first quarter? Well, they're all the way up to 48%. And a healthy 39%, 9 of 23 from the three-point line. So how quickly this can turn.
Brian Goorjian looking a little stressed on the Illawarra sidelines.
Well, it is a really good minutes from Top Blanchfield tonight as he makes his way back from those injuries.
Norton pulls up for 3. Rebound dragged in by Rattan Mays. Conrad looks for Jessup. Drains another deep one. The next star stepping up when his team needs him. 14 points in the game. It's back to 4 points the difference.
And that's a big game. You can see the intensity in his face. Trying to get his teammates going. Great extra pass in transition.
Well, it was, but you know, in hindsight, and everyone's a genius in hindsight, I think I'd prefer to stunt at Conrad and stay at home on Jessup. Instead, it went for the full rotation, and then it was just going, there was no one else to get to that corner. And it was just a matter of make or miss.
Hawks have scored the last 8 points. Now they win possession back. Things turning early in the last. Harvey got past Law, blocked by Luke Travers.
Great defense by the young fella.
Got up there and got a piece of it with both hands. Then at the offensive end, looks underneath for Hodgson.
And another good decision by Travers. He's going to be wide open, but he's 1 of 11 or 14 on the season, 1 of 14. So he does the right thing and puts it to the floor. Conrad comes back. We got end-to-end action.
High stakes in this one. Illawarra 3rd on the ladder. Perth 2nd on the ladder. They went to war for 3 games in last year's semi-final series. They're doing it again here at the Wynn Entertainment Centre.
Good minutes by Travers. He checks out of the game, but he had that block at the game. Another good decision on the offensive end. Only played the 10 minutes in this one. Too easy. Bully ball. Underneath out of bounds, Corey. A simple lob pass in.
That was way too easy. But he's up to 20.
Jessup, shot clock at 8. Fires away.
Set it, Mike. Set it, Mike. Set it, Mike. Set it.
6th rebound for Vic Law. 20 points across the night. Guarded by Conrad. He's trying to get ultra physical with him. Officials let him play. Law with the turnaround jumper.
That's real good one-on-one defense by Conrad.
And Rattan Mays got Law up in the air. Free throws to come.
Got a bag of tricks.
They've missed some shots, but I like the intensity now with the Illawarra Hawks. The tempo, the urgency, you can see it's gone up a notch to start this fourth. And there's a step back, gets Vic Law off his feet, and well thought through that time.
Timeout with 6.5 minutes remaining. It's Perth who lead by 6. Coach's challenge. Scott Morrison taking a look at that. We'll get back to that.
Gee, I don't know what his challenge. It looked like a pretty straightforward one. Foul on the shot.
The only thing I can think of is whether he's suggesting that Rattan Mays might have lent in once Vic Law was up in the air, maybe. I could be a mile off there.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's already got an
Can he
early
go
one,
2 for 2?
which looked a little... The guy jumps into him, doesn't he? He does lean in, but I think the contact was going to be made anyway.
I think so too.
The Wildcats 70, Illawarra 64. We're taking a look at the Perth Coach's Challenge. Here are the angles that the replay centre are looking at. The foul is called on Vic Law.
Rathan Mays definitely jumps in as well, but I think Vic Law is coming down into his landing space anyway. So this will be an interesting one. 0 for 1, and what I thought was an absolute gimme. So
I think that'll be the difference, Mick, with what you said. He's landing in his space.
Yeah. So
the coach's challenge is unsuccessful. The call is confirmed. Foul is on Vic Law for a push. Got 2 shots. Perth lose their challenge and their time.
Rattan Mays will walk to the line. That'll be 4 fouls on Vic Law, so that may have been the other motivation for Scott Morrison to challenge that call.
true, but to me it looked like maybe they had the different angle from behind and saw him moving. And you're right, try and avoid that 4th foul.
You got to go. If I'm Illawarra, you have to go almost every time at Law to do whatever you can to get him that 5th foul.
Correct. It'd be interesting to see how they protect him, who they put him, and what they do with those on-ball screens.
Let's get courtside to Oscar Foreman. You were taking a listen to Brian Goorjian in that timeout.
I think the whole stadium was with the volume he was talking at, but that's nothing different with Gorge. Look, he spoke about their shot selection, what plays are working, so what to keep running and what to get away from. But more importantly, at the end, last half was about Vic Law's foul trouble, exactly what you guys were talking about. He spoke about Vic Law's foul trouble, what play they're going to run and how they're going to attack him, and to continue doing it, whoever switches on to him. So I think that'll be a focus we're going to see from the Hawks now.
Well, they make the change straight away, and I suspect this is like a 2.5-minute substitution.
Yep.
Quick 2.5 minutes, bring him back with about 4 to go, because they want to keep him as an option for his scoring. He's got the 20 points on 61% from the field, 8 of 13. Well, that looked like a push-off. Maybe that's a flop. Instead, it's a 3-ball, and it's a 1-point ball game.
And that's career 3, number 399 for Tim Conrad.
And that's the thing about Illawarra, the strength of this team is really a 3-point shooting. So although
they've been poor,
They've been poor today. They're not putting it in the pocket. They're going to continue to shoot.
Well, it's about taking the right ones, because they took some bad ones in that fourth quarter against Melbourne United. So this will be a good test to see what they've learnt, the process they're going to go through, and what type of shots they're going to create.
Tomorrow, Sydney take on Brisbane in Kudos Bank Arena. Tasmania, Southeast Melbourne.
We're down the other end with that Conrad.
It's not a flop warning. The legs got tangled up. What? The legs got tangled up. It's not a flop warning. So the flop warning I gave, he doesn't stand. They just got their legs tangled up. Okay. So you still have that up sleeve by Blanchfield.
There's no warning.
No warning.
It's no warning.
The adjudication was that there was a clipping of the leg, so that's what caused the tripping over.
Not sure Brian Gorshin agrees with that. Perth lead it by 1. Their lead was as much as 9 in three-quarter time. Natan Mays reaching in. Has been teed up straight away.
Quick tech. When you're that demonstrative, here it is here.
And you call it technical like that?
What's the reaction? What's the score on this now? That's not a foul. I stayed right there.
What's the reaction?
Emotions are high.
Well, it is, and he must have said something high level, because, yeah, there was a bit of a reaction, but without knowing what he said, if he didn't say anything, it's just based on the body language, then that seems like it's a little harsh.
And that puts Illawarra over the limit.
Flagstaff drives. That'll be a travel. I'm sure I heard a whistle in there.
So did I. Thought we heard a whistle, but it did come out of his hands, and it was a block. So that's probably what saved Jesse Wagstaff.
Who steps in and takes the charge like only Jesse can.
That's good defense.
Hey, hit Conrad. Hit Conrad.
What happened? I got a thing in my ear. I don't know what it is.
We definitely heard a whistle.
Yeah, sounded like it, didn't it? Now, they came up with it anyway, so it didn't really impact the play. He missed the shot.
Yeah. Dwight Reith dealing with his fourth foul. High stakes. Vic Lord himself has never fouled out here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Blanchfield drains the 3. He's got an extra to come.
It is, and you can see Jessup. They blitzed the on-ball screen. The pass was always going to be there. Now, Jessup was trying to stunt because he had Fraser in the corner, and he's late on the closeout. So there you see the double team. He picks and pops, and a little bit of contact there. Potential 4-point play.
Blanchfield has been fantastic this evening. 17 points. Make that 18 points in 17 minutes.
Well, he's been white hot all season. He's 7 of 12 before the start of this one from three-point line at 58%. And in this one tonight, he's 3 of 7 at real healthy numbers.
He stepped in tonight. Quite a night from Michael Fraser. Blanchfield's jumped up and played a big role for them. Cotton.
Cool,
off the glass.
And collected.
The Wildcats are on a 7-0 run, and they're doing it at the right time.
And you can almost see what you were talking about with that tech and putting the team in the bonus. Illawarra were there, but were a little reluctant, particularly when it's Bryce Cotton to send him to the line, and it turned into a relatively easy penetration and 2.
They've had a good couple of minutes. 77-69. The swings and the twists and the turns in this game, Corey.
Bryce Cotton is up to 20 points, 18 points in this game. They pressured him well. He hadn't played his best game. Speaking of him, let's watch some highlights.
Oh, and then you're running the show.
he can score in so many different ways. The defense have been tough. He hasn't had his best game, but you cannot keep a guy like this down for 4 quarters. He can shoot the 3. Why are you playing so far in the paint? I don't know when he's coming off that 3. Now he hits the first one. He can score in bunches. And that's what happened in the 3rd quarter. And that's when his game started looking much better. He gets an easy basket right there. Puts his team back up 8 points. There's a shot chart sponsored by SodaStream. 6 of 13, 3 of 5 from downtown.
Now remember, he missed his first 5 shots.
Yes, he has.
So he was 0 of 5 to start the game. And he's collected himself, been a little... Yes, that's excellent maths.
You know, I was struggling earlier today with you in the break room.
But a lot more composure and just worked his way into the game.
Speaking of composure, here's Oscar Foreman courtside.
Guys, very interesting to see what transpires on the time down the floor. This time for Gorge said nothing for about half of that time out. The first half I was wondering if something was on pause because he was just looking at the ground, thinking things, and then he came out with the next 2 or 3 plays for the Hawks, but it was definitely a thinking time for him before a clear message to the guys.
I always get nervous when we look in on those timeouts. Return Mace misses everything. I find the less that he says, Brian Goorjian, the more intimidating he actually is.
Sometimes it's him just checking himself, not wanting to say something because of the frustration, just calming himself as well. And then I'd be surprised if that was the shot that Brian Goorjian was looking for coming out of the timeout. Ends up in just a simple on-ball and a wild miss.
It's exactly that. Norton breaks the press. Blanchfield left free. Offensive rebound, Wagstaff, and Illawarra go to sleep. Blanchfield walks it in for the dunk.
Well, barely a contest on the boards. And everyone left Blanchfield.
Back out to a 10-point margin. Sam Froling, just 6 points tonight. On the back of his 27 and 10 last Thursday against the Sydney Kings. We just haven't seen a lot of him tonight.
I wish that I just think that they just shot too many threes when they weren't dropping. They totally forgot about their interior presence.
And on the flip side of that, they are dropping for the Perth Wildcats. And with what they're doing with the on-balls and they're doubling and trying to trap, the extra passes has led to almost uncontested looks. Their rotation's not quite quick enough. What is he doing? That's a very good point. Frazier was going to be an over and back, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Tyler Harvey suckered Michael Frazier into that perfectly.
Well, only 7 seconds, and they're going to have to take it down the other end. We have a look here. Oh. Wasn't that going to be over and out or back, or was it a deflection?
It was going to be over and back.
Sheesh. No wonder Scott Morrison was getting a little worked up. He'd be happy with what he's seen from Todd Blanchfield, though. 20 points in this game. And when we speak about the disruptions that the Wildcats have had in the season so far, the absence of this man has been highlighted tonight with what he can do when he is actually in the line.
It is, and he's coming back to real familiar territory, having played with the Illawarra Hawks. That is a tough, tough shot, the one-handed push. But it's these ones here. You can't let Todd Blanchfield have that much. And there's another example of the rotations coming a little bit late. Again, the rotations in the closeout, and then they just fly by him, and oh board, simple pass and the two-hand stuff to Todd Blanchfield. So loving what he's been able to produce, and have a look at the numbers. Todd Blanchfield with the 20 points, Vic Law with the 20 as well. Todd only averaging the 10 points a game, but at a fantastic clip. In those 3 games that he had played prior to this one, 50% from the field and 58% from the three-point line.
Crunch time coming up in this one. Let's get down to Oscar Foreman.
Watching Gorge's timeout and how he has his pieces there, at least he's not using the coin as the ball anymore. Give me flashbacks of a Boomers camp on my rookie year with the Boomers, and watching it, and I was watching what number I was, and I was watching where I was running, and he forgot to move the ball the whole time. I got out on the floor, and I just didn't know what the end of the timeout was. Just gives me flashbacks. At least Isaac White's out there, and the ball moved this time on that board, so he's got a chance, better than I had.
Well, Isaac White, limited playing time this season. Comes in, he's got the superstar Bryce Cotton, too tight on the closeout, gets into his landing space, and he's going to send Bryce Cotton to the line to shoot 3.
Isaac White coming into the game is averaging 3 minutes a game. We've barely seen him since the second round of the season, and he comes in now.
I don't know. He has to be in the doghouse.
Well, what it is right now, it's about, I need someone to knock down a 3. We're down double digits. There's 3 minutes to go. Let's try him, because we're 4 of 22 on the night. And White, throughout his college career, a little bit of time in Stanford, and in the juniors, he is a perimeter threat.
I remember one game last year, they were in Adelaide down. They put Isaac White in the game. He brought them back, hitting threes and his energy at both ends of the court. I'm shocked that he's not even getting playing time this year.
His last 10 games of last season, shot the ball at 40% from outside. We just haven't seen him. Vic Law back in. Tough finish, Rattan Mays.
Back-to-back tough finishes at the rim.
85-73 at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Cotton, guarded by White. Happy to pull up. Might have dodged a bullet there, Illawarra. Rattan Mays has to pick up his dribble. Harvey, 5 of 16 from the field tonight. Down low to Froling, who has the size advantage. Nice ID, they found that matchup.
Well, they had their rules right. Bryce Cotton comes from the low in order to try and double team and trap, because there was the mismatch down low. Well done for Illawarra to recognise it, but Bryce Cotton just goes flying by. So he's doing everything right. He overplays the high side, but then he just goes flying by and allows the easy 2. So the execution good. Excuse me, the idea good, the execution poor.
85-75 with thanks to Latrobe. If you think that you can nail one from one end of the court to the other, well, this is the competition for you. $100,000 up for grabs. $50,000 if you want to try your luck from halfway, if you're unsuccessful for the first time. All of the details are on your screen, and a massive thanks to huge supporters of basketball in this country, Latrobe Financial.
Yeah, little conservative. I reckon they would have been pretty safe if they had to put $1 million on shooting it from one end to the other.
Don't be ungrateful.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, I don't think, if I'm Latrobe, I'm feeling really concerned about the 100K. I'm a tad nervous about the 50.
Yeah, the 50.
The 50 is a realistic.
That's a real, yeah.
The other one, it's a long way.
It's been great the last couple of weeks since it was raised by Liam Santamaria about Nigel Purchase training at full quarter. There's been a couple of other videos uploaded. It's been great.
I doubt that'd be as long as Nigel Purchase's.
Well, I didn't have the tape measure.
Well, almost stepping on the baseline, Nigel Purchase with a nice hook shot.
Hashtag NBL22 to show us yours, and that is too easy.
When you're down and you're trying to play catch-up, that is too easy.
Jessup.
The air has gone out of the building.
You talk. Go through, Mitch.
They can start to wind down time off the clock.
This has been a superb comeback by the Perth Wildcats, because they looked really bad in that first quarter.
Ball bouncing around. It's like a pinball eventually. Fraser won it. Cotton,
man.
good night.
Good night, Illawarra.
Worst possible outcome.
Worst possible outcome.
Illawarra, wide open Bryce Cotton, 24.
24.
And 4 of 6 from threes.
4 of 6 from threes.
Based on a, what was it, 0 for 5 start.
0 for 5 start.
It felt like he just couldn't get into the game, Corey, and then when he did,
he was all the way in.
All the way in.
The greatness of Bryce Cotton.
Well, according to you,
the greatest.
With perhaps not a lot of research. He's the greatest
I'm just going off the first 150. No one's ever done that. There's more to come.
Did you not listen to me? And off the top of the bites, I went with 2. I didn't even give it a lot of thought.
In 150 games?
Yeah. Darren McDonald, you've just forgot about
Shout out to the OG. Bryce Cotton. Do we need to put those accolades back up there?
I'm just saying, it's got a lot of company. I'm just not sure you really did the required research. I like it. He's definitely in the conversation.
It's been a few shout-outs to a few OGs too, just quietly.
Yeah, let me find my papers.
A few that he's left out.
3-time champ, 3-time MVP, 2-time grand final MVP, 4-time scoring champ.
Yep. It's spectacular.
Nobody's done that you just named.
No, that is impressive.
Very.
I take 21 years of body of work of someone like Leroy, or 20 years of Leonard, or 20 years of D-Mac, or 15, 16 of Scott Fisher. So he's right on track. And no disrespect to him.
One last possession for the Hawks. Harvey's had a really tough night shooting from outside. They swing to Jessup in the corner. He certainly tried his hardest. A massive mark in the season for the Perth Wildcats. They're going to have to do this one the tough way in NBL22. They come to the Wynn Entertainment Centre and they dominate the second half. Winners 94-78. We've seen what they're made of.
Absolutely, and when the going got tough, Vic Law stepped up. That second quarter is as good as he's had with the Perth Wildcats in the context of what was happening in the first. They looked all over the place. The great one, Bryce Cotton, well, he come to play as well with his 24 points. Michael Frazier, 9 points and 11 rebounds. Great work, and the footlocker player of the game. I tend to agree with this. Vic Law, 22.7 rebounds and the 1 helper, 1 assist. It's outstanding work by Vic Law. He is a class player and great cameo. Well, more than a cameo, but superb by Todd Blanchfield with his 20 points.
They'll be happy with this one. They're starting to get their full team back. Big win. They showed a lot of guts, a lot of heart, and they didn't panic when things weren't going their way early on.
And some real questions also on the back of this for the Illawarra Hawks.
We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. The Wildcats getting the job done by 16 tonight at the Wynn Entertainment Centre.
have a joke about it. You're watching the Hungry Jacks NBL, and we saw a second half blitz from the Perth Wildcats. At one point in this game, Illawarra led it by 13, but Perth just found a way to not only get it on their terms, but to win in a big way, 16-point final margin. That's a huge swing in the game.
It is huge. They'll look at this and say, we've still got some things to address. We can't have these slow starts. 13, no more than 13 points in their last 3 games. They only had 13 tonight and looked in all sorts of trouble. But when you've got Bryce Cotton, Vic Law on your roster, good things can happen. And it was Vic Law that really turned it on. And it's interesting to see Scott Morrison. He's become more familiar with the league, and as he gets his players, he's got some challenges on how he's going to sort out his rotations, because there's some players tonight that didn't get much burn. Kevin White in particular, and even Luke Travers, that didn't get a lot of run, and how he keeps them engaged. But you look at the numbers, and the shooting percentages of the Illawarra Hawks are well down. 5 of 27 from the three-point line. That is very hard to win games when you're shooting at those types of numbers. And for the Perth Wildcats, they were great from the three-point line after that tough start. 12 of 28 and almost 43% from the field. Here's the thing. They did all this, the Illawarra Hawks, and they only had 4 turnovers in the game. Magnificent effort at taking care of the basketball. A really subpar performance of shooting the ball.
Let's take a look at the ladder and what the loss does for the Illawarra Hawks. Reminder that they were 3rd coming into this game.
Whoa.
Corey, they're outside the top 4.
Yeah. And I tell you this, watch out, that Brisbane Bullets outfit.
Yes. Rob Franks, he's in that Vic Law mode. He's a stud.
Yeah, he's
an
a stud.
absolute stud. And Jason Kandee, what a game he had.
Big game.
Perth, shout out to Jason, has a baby daughter a week or so ago. He turned it on for the new little one in the family.
And we're going to see the Brisbane Bullets and Jason Kandee in action tomorrow. They take on the Sydney Kings. Tasmania will also be in action against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Until then, on behalf of all of our team here and behind the scenes, stay safe. We're going to see you tomorrow on the Hungry Jacks NBL.
It's game time and I'm up one. Name something I ain't done. Name a body that's my type. Air Jordan, I take flight. I'm next level, I'm franchise. I'm top tier, I'm that guy. I'm the man of the year. I'm a man with no fear. I think like I'm a shark. The way I move so sharp. I go hard for the team. That's how I play my part. I'm solid like the foundation. I'm dedicated to greatness. I always knew I would win. Now let the games begin.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Trade.
So, need these bad boys. Thank you. Get back here, do you think tomorrow? No, you got that.
I'm assuming you can see my picture, okay? You've got the 2 chairs. Yeah. Is there any chat anywhere you can make a noise on this, see if we can get it out of the speaker, okay?
If I can speak, should I speak from me?
Yes, as in from the other end.
Yeah.
See if it comes out of here.
Yeah.
Is your start us off?
Scott, a bit of a slow start, but the last 3 quarters of that game, especially the second half, you would have been delighted with it.
Yeah, if anybody knows the solution to our slow starts, I'd love to hear some suggestions, but as long as we play like that the rest of the game, we can make up for it tonight, and it didn't hurt us, but hopefully we can fix that for next week.
Yeah, different guys stepping up at different times as well. When you needed a spark, it was Vic that started things in the second quarter, then Bryce and Blanche got going in the third quarter, and Michael Frazier had some really good minutes as well. You had a lot of guys stepping up.
No, I think everyone that played contributed a great deal. Different guys kind of got hot at different times, but that's the benefit of having close to a full roster, which we haven't really had all season. So we saw the benefits of that tonight, and we just got to make sure we play the right way, move that ball, and get everyone lots of touches so that when we need them to step up, they have a good rhythm.
Mitch Norton's game probably won't stand out on the box score, but the fact that he's now finding his feet, he's running the offense nicely again, and his defense on Tyler Harvey, he had a big impact.
Yeah, no, he did a good job, and same with Mike Frazier. Those guys really did a good job defensively with really tough assignments. Those two were, in actions all night against really good players, and didn't shut them down. You can't shut those kind of guys down, but definitely made them earn their points, and that's what we have to do to beat these tough teams that have a lot of talent.
And Blanche, you enjoy playing on this floor, don't you?
Yeah, it's always nice to see the ball go through the rim. But, yeah, I mean, we knew coming into this gym was always going to be a tough place to win. They're a talented team, but, it's a big win for us. And, we see them again in a few days, so we've got to switch over mentally and prepare for the next one.
It's been a tough few months for you. How nice is it to be back out there looking healthy and playing some good basketball again?
It doesn't matter if I played 2 minutes or 20 minutes. It just beats watching. I've never really had an injury like that before, so it was all new for me. But to be on the other side of it, hopefully, is it's a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it.
You got something, Greg?
Yeah, Scott, all your fans who are watching the game on the TV, there's a lot of focus during the game from the commentators about Nick Law's first quarter compared to his second quarter. Didn't get a shot away in the first. Can you explain, from what your perspective, why the sudden change in the way he was able to play?
I mean, the easy answer would be he just shot it and didn't pass it. But we didn't get him as many touches as we probably should have in the first quarter. But he did get a couple of potential assists on his post-up where he kicked it out to, I believe, Mitch. He drew a foul another time, and he had a kick-out 3 potential assists. So it's not like he wasn't contributing to the offense. But, maybe it's on me to make sure everyone gets their touches earlier. But you got to give credit to the Hawks, too, because they came out pretty strong defensively and made it tough for us to move the ball. We had to make a few adjustments to kind of get some more space for our guys.
We've seen, obviously, in the Cairns game, Bryce run goes wild in the second quarter, changes the game. Vic does it tonight. It must be really nice as a coach to know if you get into stride, you've got a couple of blokes who can really turn it on really quickly.
I mean, yeah, and kind of like Todd said, I don't care who does it as long as someone steps up. And it'd be even nicer if we just started off better and didn't have to have some heroic performances to get us back in the game because, we can't always count on those shots to fall in the third quarter like they did, and we can't always count on Illawarra to miss some open threes like they did. So we have to be better from the start of the game and just keep improving each week this season.
So other than bringing Matt into the 5, did you do anything different in your preparation on game day today to try to improve that stuff?
No, not really. We had a very short time to prepare for this game against a really tough team. So I was kind of proud of the guys I thought we were ready to play in terms of our game plan, but for some reason we took a few minutes before we started executing. Sometimes when you watch good teams on film, it's easy to point out what you would do when you get a chance to play them in person, but they often can kind of surprise you because the speed at which they play or the force at which they attack can't be replicated on film. So at least we won't have that excuse next week. If we get up to a slow start, we know what we're getting into, and we know it's going to be a tough battle, and teams are always going to be tougher after a loss when you're playing them back-to-back, too.
Given everything that's gone on in the past 48 hours with our border and uncertainty, and I'm sure you've all had phone calls from your partners saying what on earth's going on, and your focus would be really difficult at times. How proud are you of their ability to ignore all that and just play?
Well, I don't get to play. I kind of wish I had a chance to go out there and play, because if I remember correctly, when I used to play, before there was electricity, it was a nice time to escape. I always used basketball as an escape from anything that was bothering me. I kind of gave that advice to the guys. I'm sure they didn't need that advice, but at the same time, I didn't really want to sugarcoat anything. It's a tough situation. It's, you know, it sucks that we left with the plan of coming back on a certain day, and then all of a sudden we're told that can't happen. That's really hard on you. So just another reason to be proud of the team tonight, because the games are going to be played regardless of how we feel or what we get to do, so we may as well make them count. And they were able to block that out tonight and put on a good performance. So I hope we can continue to use basketball as an escape from a really tough situation for us, and even tougher for our families. That's probably what bothers everyone here the most, is that we feel pretty helpless to help the ones we love back home.
It's obviously the same situation. You get the kids that Scott has, but you've got a partner who's over here without family and friends.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, that definitely, everyone's sort of in the same situation. Some guys have kids, some guys don't, but we'll have, at the end of the day, we'll have family that we'd love to get back to, but at the same time, I think we just got to try and control what we can control. You know, there's a lot of things out of our reach, and as Scott said, basketball is what we're over here to do, and we've got to try and focus on that as best we can, and, you know, try and play as many games as win as many games as we can.
Hey, Jackson.
Scott, there are a lot of questions about the recruitment of Michael Fraser in the off-season. Instead of going after an import big, tonight he had 9, 11 and 5. What are your thoughts on this game tonight?
I thought he was really good. He's in a tough spot, too, because he's not usually the first option offensively. I mean, if we play the right way in offense, everyone's going to get their chances to shoot and score and attack. But, you know, he's not the first option that we were calling plays for. So coming in as an import, that's something he had to get his head around. He's done a great job just doing whatever the team needs. And tonight the team needed him to play tough defense on really good players, which he did. Execute a defensive game plan, which he did. And then he added the playmaking and the rebounding. You know, it'd be tough to find an import big that can get you 11 rebounds and 5 assists. I'm sure there's some guys out there, but I'll take what Mike brings, you know, in his skill set over any other player that we could have gotten. So I'm really happy with his progress. He's another guy that didn't get much chance in the preseason because he was injured. And I think we're starting to see what guys like him and Todd and Mitch can do when they start to get some reps under them.
The situation that you're in currently is very reminiscent to the situation the Wildcats were in last season. Before the NBL Cup, there was Wildcats played 2 games against South East Melbourne at the State Basketball Centre. And first game, Wildcats won convincingly, and in the second game, South East Melbourne won convincingly. What can you do within the coming days to avoid that happening against Illawarra?
We got to treat it like it's halftime. We're really happy that this goes in the win column and stays there, but at the same time, this is a 2-game series, and we got to win the second half too. We got to know that they're going to come out harder. They're going to make some adjustments. We have to match their intensity, get off to a better start, and just give ourselves a chance to hit enough shots down the stretch. But there's no one in that locker room that thinks it's going to be easy. None of the games are easy, especially after you beat a team and then have to come back to their home gym again and play. It's a pretty rare situation, but yeah, we just got to prepare and be better next week and see what we can do.
Do you have a message that you want to send to the Red Army after tonight's game with all the border closures and situations that you are placed upon currently?
What I've learned is there's pretty split sides to what's going on there. I'm not really a big political person. I tend to lean towards sarcasm and humor when I can, but there's nothing funny about this situation for us. I will say that it's possible to do your best at your job and give it everything you have and still want to go home and hug your loved ones or your kids. It's not mutually exclusive. So it's okay for us to be angry or annoyed with a situation that we can't control. It doesn't mean we're not going to give our best effort every night and try to win every game. Matter of fact, it's going to be extra effort because we don't want to waste the sacrifice that we're all making.
Scott, just on that and the whole board stuff, has there been any contact by the NBL to your franchise about potential games when the borders do open up again and whether or not you have like an extended homestand or anything like that? Has there been any contacts thus far?
I don't know for sure. I know there's some meetings and some talks happening, but when the plan is set up and someone else just changes it on you and you can't control it, you kind of not worry about planning and discussions because it could change any day of the week. And we just really got to lock in one day at a time, try to train our best, try to rehab and get our bodies right the best we can every day and get ready for those games. And at some point in time, the calendar's going to shift from May to June to July, and we're all going to be home. The season's going to be over. So when that happens, we don't want to have any regrets, regardless of the tough situation that we're in.
Hi Scott, this is Joseph from NBL Podcast. My question is, no or very few first-year coaches come on to win the NBL title. Your team's looking pretty good. You've got a nice winning record. You're at the top. You just coached against Brian Gorgeon, been in this league a long time. What makes you different? Why could you be the guy to do it this way?
The players are going to do it if we do it, that's for sure. And my job is just to organize them, help them prepare best I can, and try to put them in good situations where they can use their strengths. We have a lot of guys who have won, who've had successful careers, and far be it from me to get in their way. I'm just going to try and set them up best I can, and then encourage them. We have a list of priorities in our locker room of what it takes to win. There's 7 of them. I won't get into what they are, but coaching at the very bottom in small print. I have a very small impact on the game. It's all about the players, and there's 9 great coaches in this league. I wouldn't put myself in one of them. I'm just trying to watch as much film and learn as much as I can and help the team whenever little way possible. But at the end of the day, it's them that's getting the wins.
There's talk of Bryce Cotton in the broadcast. There's talk of Bryce Cotton being the best import to ever play here. What's your impression on a statement like that? What's your research told you about imports of the past?
Well, I don't know all the guys that play. I would probably put him second behind a Canadian guy named Scott Morrison, a 7-footer who played 8 to 10 years ago, I believe. So I'll rank my namesake, the basketball one, first, and then I'll put Bryce second. But I think if you did your research, you'd realize that that's my sarcasm getting in again. No offense to Scott, he's a good dude. But as far as I've seen, Bryce is the best. And since he's on our team, I'm going to give him my vote.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, boys.
I'll just one more quickly. Given you're staying in, given you're playing Illawarra again, are you staying there or are you going back to Tassie for the next couple of days? What's your travel plan from here?
We're going back to Hobart, and we're hoping to get some news. We're not expecting anything crazy, but on Monday we're hoping to get some news about what the plan might be. And like I said, until then, we're just taking it one day at a time and trying to make sure we don't waste any of these days.
Thank you.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Let's try and do this. Step on it, step on the floor, lift it up, get that out of here. One in the middle. So let's go this way. And then you go that way, and we'll have to do it here. So let's take the top one. Okay, so let's take that top one out. Oh, you got it? Oh, you know what? You're right. Let's do this one and hold it. Yep. Hold it down. Let's go out.
Perfect. Well done. Hold on. Yep. Can we just put that in the middle? You know what I mean? So that, yeah. Thank you. So let's do it on camera. Yep. Thank you.
See you tomorrow. Thank you, Cal. See you there. Suck you up back.
Yep, you do.
See ya.
Do you take more into that with you?
Oh no, which you want to take it? I'll take it. See ya.
Good. No, good.
Thank you. Here we go.
Thanks, boys.
Are you going to start us off?
Sorry?
You start us off, Jono.
Oh, sorry, mate, yeah. Boys, that was probably the best start to a game you've produced all season. That had been an issue for you, but where do you think that's all went wrong for you tonight?
Yeah, we did have a good start. Going into this game, really nervous about the matchups on Vic Law and Bryce. I thought our setup defensively with Melbourne was better for us, and Delhi did what Delhi did. Tonight, those two scared me. How we matched up to them was a concern. In the start of the game, we had them in check, and from that point on, we struggled to control that. I thought as a coach and an organization, they did a real good job of creating mismatches with those two, you know, forcing a Conrad or somebody to switch on to Bryce, forcing, you know, a mismatch on Vic. And then I thought, you know, AC struggled with Vic in the second half and in the second quarter. So, you know, big picture for us after last year, you know, these two games, I think, just say a lot about where we are all the way around as an organization, a team, a staff. We're just not there yet. And, you know, not even close. These two games were instrumental on, as an organization and as a team, have we gone there with the competition after what we did last year. And it's been a weakness here for as long as I can remember. And, you know, I thought last game was huge, and the Delhi thing kind of put a marker on it. Well, you know, maybe, because that was one I put on me, you know, on how we guarded him and how we went, but I still thought we had had an opportunity if we were where we need to be to win that at home. And then tonight, I thought the table was set. You know, why is this